Okay, I'm recording this video after close of trade Wednesday, the 1st of September 2010. We've had a good couple of days trading. I hope everybody got on board this last uptrend. Today's trade, we actually closed up at 1082, up 30 points. We kind of gapped up after yesterday, Tuesday's trade. The intraday range was also pretty good, about 21.5 points, and decent volume, about 2 million contracts traded. Now, the last video I did was on Monday after we had this very low volume down bar day. You can see it's a down bar. It's actually an exhaustion selling bar painted white on better volume, but you can see the volume was extremely light at this point. But in terms of buying and selling, it was an overall very bearish day in terms of the amount of selling that took place. But I was saying this looked very much like a no supply type day where we kind of test the lows, but there's very little selling going on. And then yesterday, Tuesday, very interesting. We had extremely high volume here. You can see about 2.2 million contracts traded, a lot higher than a lot of bars that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But the range was compressed, and that gave us a stopping volume pattern here at this low around 1040. And that showed that there was a lack of, whenever we kind of reached into those 1040 levels, kind of selling, the volume kind of came in, took up all those sellers at that point, absorbed those sellers, and compressed the range. And stopping volume patterns are really helpful to show where the buyers are coming back into the market, and that was what was going on yesterday. It was kind of like a stealth buying day. We ended up kind of rallying quite hard into the close, and then during the overnight session we really got going, and that's why we gapped open during the Wednesday's open, and then we just had a little bit of a pullback during the morning session. I'll show you that, and we kind of took off to the upside. So that's what's kind of going on, and looks like now we're above our cyclical support level here on the daily time frame. Let me just show you the sine wave charts here. Just looking at the weekly chart, we were saying this 1040 level was kind of key. It was a pullback level that's been sitting around for a couple of months here. We finally bounced off this, and although we've got a cyclical turn happening on the weekly chart here, we do need price confirmation. So we need price weakness in order to confirm that turning point. So that turning point's not happening I think during this week at least, so fingers crossed. Then just looking at the daily chart here, so I was saying a couple of days ago that it was critical that we close above this support level on this daily time frame for this to mean that this uptrend is going to continue. Now, because we've had this little kind of push below and close back up above the cyclical support level, the next cross, the next turn on the better sine wave indicator on a daily time frame is going to be key for when this is going to kind of run out of steam. So it looks like I think we had very exhaustive kind of buying volume into the close today. I think we're going to have a little bit of a pullback tomorrow, but that'll just be an opportunity for the bulls to come back in and push this up. So I'm still looking for a continuation of this uptrend now for a fair few days. And then with the X-trend indicator, I was talking about this a couple of days ago, how this stopping trailing volume based on exhaustion volume signal had been brought back down to, I think this was sitting about 1062, something like that, and then any close kind of above that just means on this time frame that we're in an uptrend again. So again, that's kind of a daily chart, and it looks like we're in an uptrend when we're looking at volume trailing stop type analysis. And then just looking at the highest time frame tip bar chart, the 40,500 tip bar chart. This was Wednesday's activity and Tuesday's activity here, and you can see. So when I was talking on Monday's trade, we kind of come back in pretty violently into this kind of close, and the sell-off was pretty extreme when we were looking at the close on Monday. Professional blue bar coming here. These lows being made by the amateurs here. The amateurs often kind of get wrong-footed at these extremes. We had a cyclical support level coming on better sine wave on this time frame. Plus we had one of my flush signals here on better momentum. So we'd had our exhaustion selling a few days prior, and each time we'd come back to sell into these extremes. We had kind of extreme selling that was not as great as what we'd seen on the exhaustion selling bar, but was more than what we saw on the bullish divergence signal. So we had one kind of flush signal here that was also a stopping volume pattern at this point, cyclical support, and that's why we had the last rally. Then on Monday, when we came back into this close of Monday, after the overnight session, we had the flush signal go off saying that we've had kind of extreme selling at this point, or large selling at the points. It wasn't as extreme as what we'd seen previously, and that was flushing out the sellers at that point. And then on Tuesday, when we came into the lows again at the end of the day, you can see the amount of selling that went on was extremely light. There was bullish divergence signal here coming in 10:45, and that was a signal that we were kind of going on. And then here's a couple of up bars, professional up bars at the end of the day, and I often get emails from people with the better pro-am kind of signals, say, well, how do you know when you've got professional buying and professional selling going on? And sometimes I think people tend to overthink this a little bit. I try to keep it simple in my head, at least. When you see professional bars at extremes, so at extreme points like here, those are professionals doing the opposite of what the amateurs are doing. At extremes, the professionals are selling in this case here and buying at this point here, when we're coming into those lows. You can see on the advance here. But at this point here, the professionals, we've got a little bit of consolidation going on, and this is professional activity that pushes us through this resistance kind of level here at this kind of 1053 type resistance level here. So we need that large professional volume to kick us through that resistance at that point to get this uptrend going. So when we see professional bars kind of in an area of consolidation, not in an extreme like here or even here at the close of today, this is where they're kind of buying the breakout, and that's the fuel, the rocket fuel that gets us going into this trend move. But they start to take profits when this runs out of steam, and you can see at the close of today we had a cyclical turn on this time frame, a couple of profit taking and no demand patterns, and we've run pretty hard over the last couple of days with this uptrend here. We're up 40 points in a day and a half. We've got exhaustion buying at this point here. The amount of selling that we've got going on here is still quite a lot of buying happening here. It's not a signal that's close to the zero line here, so I'd expect us to form some kind of bullish divergence patterns kind of some point tomorrow. But we have had this kind of exhaustion buying at this point. We might be just running out of a little bit of steam, and so we'll pull back a little bit until it'll give the bulls who are too late to get onto this move an opportunity to step in and push it a little bit higher. So that's what I kind of saw going on this time frame chart. Then just looking at the other time frame charts on other markets. This is the euro. Saying a couple of days ago the euro was looking pretty weak, and then on Tuesday we kind of sold off to test kind of back into the 2650 type levels. Bullish divergence pattern here close to the zero line, and we've kind of taken off into a little bit of an uptrend here. Quite a lot of selling at the end of today, but you see the price damage that was done was very limited. So even though there's quite a lot of selling at this point here, that would suggest to me that this rally kind of still going on. Looking at bonds. Now, bonds are interesting. So, because the money's rushing back into equities at this point, we're seeing a weakness in the bonds. And you can see we've had a triple top form here. We had our exhaustion buying into bonds kind of pushing up into this 33 to 35 type level. We had our flush signal right up here in this kind of a candlestick type pattern where people would see this as some kind of push up and then close on the lows above 35. We test back up the first time, bearish divergence signal, cyclical turning point, amateur yellow up bars here at this high, saying the amateurs are trying to buy this breakout. That's not a good sign. We come back to some bullish divergence signals, but we come back to test this level at 135, and you can see yesterday coming into the highs here. First of all, the second push up here was all these professional blue bars. Professionals on these up bars at these new highs, taking profits, reversing, going short. The final bar is a little Rambo pattern here, the potential reversal of an amateur breakout. The amateurs are buying this potential breakout above 135. They get wrong-footed as soon as the low of that bar is we close below the low of that bar. The down move kind of is confirmed. It's a cyclical turning point. It's also a bearish divergence signal. We're a lot closer to the zero line here, saying that there's kind of more balance in terms of buying and selling, and then we sell off. We sold off probably a little bit too hard. We've come into some professional buying here, bullish divergence patterns. It's cyclical turning point, and so might get a little bit of a bounce tomorrow. But this kind of triple top is pretty important. So I'm starting to see some other reasons why equities might be more attractive at this point than the bonds. But tomorrow we could easily get a little bit of a pullback. Copper keeps on going ahead. So the last time we had an end of trend warning signal here, we came sold off pretty hard into these lows, had our exhaustion selling at this point. Professionals come back in, bullish divergence, cyclical turning point, everything kind of coming together here. A couple of stopping volume patterns, and we kind of race off. Now we've raced off to the upside into another end of trend warning signal with some huge range bars at the open of this market on the Wednesday.